Emeka told Chidi she chose me. Chidi did not shout. He just looked at his best friend of 15 years and he just said 5 words. Then God is not fair and walked away. But here is what nobody told you about that day. Emeka was lying. Let me take you back, far back, to a small street in Enugu, Nigeria, where two boys grew up so close that the neighbors could not always remember whose mother was whose. Chidi and Emeka. They met at age 7 when Chidi gave Emeka half of his last chim chim at school because Emeka's lunch had fallen in the mud. That was it. That was all it took. From that day, they were brothers without blood. Now, 20 years later, they were still on the same streets, older, still poor, still together. But the years had shaped them differently. Chidi was the kind of man who could make you feel rich just by the way he talked to you. Simple and quiet. He worked as a mechanic at the motor park, came home with grease on his hands, and still found a way to smile. He did not want much, just enough. Peace, loyalty. A woman who would love him back with the same quietness he loved her. Emeka was different. Emeka loved things. Designer belts on a market boy salary. Fake Versace shirts he brought from Onitsha. Wore once and showed off like a peacock. He had a chart in his head, a ranking of women, and beauty was always at the top. Not kindness, not brains, beauty. Emeka believed that a fine woman on his arm was the closest thing to wealth he could ever wear. They were best friends, complete opposites, and that had always worked. Until Adaeze walked into the motor park one Tuesday afternoon with a flat tire and a smile that stopped time. Adaeze was not the most beautiful woman you had ever seen, but she was the kind of woman who made you feel you had never really looked at a woman before. She had this way of laughing, slow and full, like she meant every single part of it. She sold second-hand books at the market 3 streets away. She liked pepper soup without the meat because she said the brooch was the roaster. She remembered people's names, not just their faces, their names. Chidi fixed her tire that Tuesday, did not overcharge her, did not collect full price. She asked why. He shrugged and said, "Now your first time, next one, I go charge you double." She laughed, that slow, full laugh. He thought about that laugh for 3 days. But here is what Chidi did not know. Emeka had already met her 2 weeks before at a wedding in the neighborhood. Emeka had danced near Adaeze and spent the whole night trying to impress her with stories. Stories about money he did not have, a car he was about to buy, a business that existed only in his imagination. Adaeze had smiled politely and moved away. She did not remember him by morning. Emeka remembered her like a fever. So when Chidi came home one evening, sat down on the bench outside and said casually, "I think I like somebody," Emeka's ears lifted. And when Chidi described her, the bookseller, the laugh, the pepper soup story, Emeka's stomach dropped to the floor. He said nothing. He just nodded and said, "Chidi, my brother, you deserve to be happy. Go after her," and smiled. That smile. If you had been there, you would have seen it, just for a second, that the smile did not reach his eyes. Now, this is where the story turns, because Emeka did not step back. He stepped forward, quietly, like a man who has decided something in his heart and will not announce it. He started going to the book market. He dressed better than he had ever had, borrowed a friend's agbada, bought a fresh pair of shoes on credit. He went to Adese's store, bought books he would never read, and slowly began to rebuild the impression he had failed to make at the wedding. And here is the wicked part: he never told Chidi. Chidi, on the other hand, was moving at his own pace, a mechanic's pace, slow, honest. He would pass by her store after work, still in his work clothes, smelling of engine oil, and just talk to her. No performance, no borrowed clothes, just Chidi. Adaeze noticed both of them. She is not blind. This woman, she saw Emeka's efforts, the press shirts, the rehearsed compliments. She saw Chidi's ease, the realness, the way he never tried to be anything he wasn't. She was leaning. You could feel it. She was leaning towards Chidi. But Emeka could feel it too. And that is when he did something that even I, the one telling you this story, find hard to forgive. He went to Adaeze privately and told her that Chidi was already seeing someone else. He said it gently, said it like a concerned friend, warning a woman before she gets hurt. Said he did not want to get involved, but he cared too much to stay quiet. He lied. Chidi was seeing nobody. He had eyes for nobody except her. Adaeze pulled back and became cool towards Chidi. She stopped laughing as freely. Chidi noticed, confused, but did not know why. And in that confusion, Emeka stepped in closer. For 6 weeks, Adaeze and Emeka spent more time together. It was not love, not yet, but there was something. The way you let someone in when you are not sure who else to trust. Chidi, in the dark, started to withdraw. He stopped talking about her, started working long hours. The smile that came so easily began to take more effort. One evening, his neighbor's daughter, a small girl named Ngozi, who sold water near the market, ran to him at the motor park and said, without knowing the weight of her own words, "Uncle Chidi, I saw your friend Emeka again today at Auntie Adeze's store. He go there every day. Oh. Yesterday, I see them share food." Chidi's hands stopped moving on the engine. He did not say anything to Ngozi. He cleaned his tools, packed off for the day, went home, sat on the same bench outside, and stared at the road for a long time. Then he called Emeka. "Emeka, who is this girl you are chasing in the market?" Emeka went silent. "Why you dey ask?" "Just answer me," Chidi said. Then Emeka said a name, not Adeze's name, another name, a girl that didn't exist. Chidi knew. He knew the way you know when rain is coming, even before the first cloud appears. He knew in his bones. He did not fight. The next morning, he went to the market. He walked straight to Adeze's store, still in his work clothes, and said, "Did somebody tell you something about me? Something bad?" Adaeze looked at him for a long moment. Then she told him everything. Chidi's face did not break, but his eyes said everything his mouth could not. He said he had never been seeing anyone. He said he had liked her from the first day, and he was sorry that someone had used her trust as a weapon. He did not say Emeka's name. He did not have to. Adaeze already knew. That evening, both men sat on the same bench they have shared since they were boys. It was quiet for a long time. Then Chidi looked at him quietly and asked him, "Why?" Just that single word. Emeka started to deny it. He opened his mouth with an excuse already shaped and ready. But something in Chidi's eyes, that stillness, that deep, undramatic sadness, made the lie die in his throat. He looked away, and in looking away, he answered everything. Chidi said, "We were poor together. We were hungry together. I remember when your mother cried because she couldn't pay your wife's fees, and my mother took her last money to help you. I remember all of it, and you used me like I was an obstacle in your road." Emeka said nothing. "I am not angry," Chidi continued. And this was the terrifying part. He wasn't. He was something worse than angry. He was dumb. "I just want to know, was any of it real? Any of the years?" Emeka finally looked at him, and for the first time, perhaps the first time in his adult life, He did not have a performance ready. No borrowed shirt, no rehearsed line. Just a man sitting in a wreckage of what he had broken. He said, "I'm sorry." Chidi nodded slowly, stood up, and said the 5 words we started with, "Then God is not fair," and walked away. Now, I told you at the beginning that Emeka was lying when he said Adaeze chose him. Here is the truth of that lie. Adaeze never chose Emeka. After Chidi walked away from that bench, she went to find him. She knocked on his door that same night, still holding a book she had set aside for him weeks ago. One she had never given him because she had pulled away. She put it in his hands and said, "I kept this for you. Even when I was confused, I kept this." It was a one copy of Things Fall Apart. She had written her number inside the cover. Chidi did not smile right away. He looked at the book for a long time. Then he looked at her. And this time, slowly, the smile came. They did not rush. There was no dramatic declaration. Just two people, beginning again, honestly. As for Emeka, he told people that Adaeze had chosen Chidi over him. He said it the way men say things that shame them, quickly, as though speed would stop the sting. Some people believe him, some didn't. But the market is a small world, and Enugu does not forget. The bold shoes went back, the Versace shirt faded, and on Sunday mornings, when Chidi and Adaeze passed by on their way to church, not dressed up, not performing, just walking together the way people walk when they are at peace, Emeka would watch from his doorstep, not with hatred, with something quieter, harder to carry, regret. There's an old saying in Igbo land, "The one who brings kola nuts brings life." But Emeka did not bring kola nuts to his friendship. He brought competition. And the thing about competition is, it does not care how long you have known someone. It only cares about winning. Chidi lost a friend that year, but he found something Emeka could not find with all his sharp dressing and bold confidence. He found a woman who chose him as he was, grease on his hands, honest words, no performance, and isn't that the rarest thing? Some people spend their whole lives chasing things that look like love, and they miss the real thing standing quietly right beside them. If this story touched something in you, tell me in the comments, who did you feel for more, Chidi or Emeka? Because I have a feeling your answer will say a lot about you. See you in the next story.